Welcome to the SHT podcast. This podcast is created by superhumans, for superhumans, and anyone else who wants to look, feel, and perform like a freaking badass. Your holistic health journey starts here. Rediscover how we...
Yeah!
Paul, sit your ass down.
All right, what's up, y'all? We're so excited to bring this interview to you. This is a success story with the Prince family, which is Suzanne, Kevin, and their daughter Delancey. All three have been through tremendous transformations, some of it through their own personal learning and experience and experimentation, and then of course some of it through what they've learned through the SHT Real Foodie Masterclass and having this commitment to attend our ongoing seminars and workshops. They went through our lifestyle progression, learning about sleep and meditation and mindfulness, and then also combining that with natural movement through the CrossFit Combine and this synergistic effect that we see from all these foundations being combined. It's just a really beautiful story. It's been great to watch this family evolve, and there's such great additions to both of our communities. So this is a really fun interview. We started out doing a test run, and we ended up having so much fun on that test run that we just ended up keeping it as part of the whole interview. So we hope you enjoy this interview. All right, so we're super excited to be here today. This is a test run, so we're just going to see how the mics do. And sitting here with the Princes, and absolutely adore this family. I don't know if it was too forward. Remember when I first, or one of the first things I said, I feel like, what did I say? Like you're a mother figure to me or something like that.
Yeah, like I've known you for a long time, or we just connected. We just have, it's probably another lifetime maybe. Yeah. I don't know, but it's like it's
part of the family, and I was like, oh, maybe that was too forward.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like our adopted son or something.
Yeah, but it's been great to watch y'all just as members of the gym, and then going through some of our seminars and stuff progress. And so what we'll do is we'll just start out by just asking you guys to give a little background on yourself, like name, and we can just go down the line, and we don't have to do the full thing right now, but that's what we'll start with, like a little bit of your background, your story. Maybe even like where you were before coming into health, and finding health, like what things were like, how you felt, what was off, what you're struggling with symptoms. I mean, obviously you have a tremendous story, but maybe just let's start with that a little bit of it. Yeah.
So I'll say my name is Delancey. I'm 25 years old.
Such a great voice.
Oh, thank you. 25 years old, currently going to school to become a registered dietitian. It wasn't always that way though.
How recent was that?
So I'm in my third year.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so I'm close to applying for the dietetic internship.
Okay, nice.
But before I've already graduated with a bachelor's degree in PR, and then before that...
Public relations?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, medical PR.
Wow.
Yeah. I had realized I had wanted to be an RD when I was at USC getting that degree, but they didn't have the program, which is why I finished out there with the PR degree and started here. But before that, I actually was an acting major. I'd been a child actor and did acting for 9 years.
I almost wish I didn't know this right now, so it could be a surprise. I'll pretend like it's a surprise. That's so cool.
My thing, I didn't want to be in movies or film. I wanted to be a stage actor. I loved Shakespeare, loved Broadway, and was really set on that's what I was going to go do.
Yeah.
Yep, and then I got diagnosed with Crohn's while I was at USC, and that kind of was the catalyst that changed me from not being an actor anymore, and I wanted to learn more about health. I was trying to learn more about myself, and that just kind of inspired me, and gone on from there.
Yeah,
and I'm in remission now.
Yeah, congratulations, so great.
Thanks.
I think a lot of us are like that. Like we begin this journey because we're trying to fix something, trying to help ourselves to some degree. So.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Suzanne?
Yeah. Suzanne DeSaints Prince. My maiden name in there. Gosh, I go way back. Health has always been real important to me. I'm a registered nurse. Yep. Registered nurse for over 30 years and was on the sick side of health. So I saw, patients so sick from lifestyle. And I just knew at a young age, at 20-something, I wasn't going to be like that. So that's when I really took an interest in health. And and in the early years, did the whole thing in the 80s, bodybuilding or fitness shows and eating all the wrong things, but didn't know that at the time, and just keep evolving.
Yeah.
And and now I'm retired and I get to focus completely on health, and it's insane because I'm learning something every second of every day.
That's so great.
And it's very overwhelming, but also good at the same time.
Yeah. And I can see it. I love it. I love your feedback, your posts, your commentary, showing up to stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you're very involved, and it's great.
Well, and it's like Delancey said, Mom, oh my gosh, you found your place. I said, I know. And when we first came here, it was so funny because I didn't come initially with them. I was up the street with them, but then I held back. I said, no, you guys go. And then they came for about a month or so and said, you need to come check it out. We think you'll like it. And the minute I walked in, I was like, okay. And then I saw your wall and all your, the principles and values, and I went, okay, this is my place. And I love the professionalism, but also the personal side of it.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's really...
What do you mean by the personal side of it?
That everybody's so real. That you're so accessible and you share, and it's so authentic and raw, and you can just tell. There's nothing that's fake about it, that you really want everyone to do well. And it's unconditional. And everybody's at a place in their life. And, but you're here, and you'll take anybody that's deciding they want to improve their life.
Yeah. And
I just love that. I get bored real easy, so I would jump around to gyms. And so this has been a long time, for me to be at this and going since January.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. That's a long time for me. I'm usually jumping around because I get bored.
Yeah.
But I feel like you offer so much, and it's always something new, and it's like, wow. And just stay open-minded and hear it, and I'm in awe continually. Like, oh my God, you're not going to believe this.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. So.
Yeah, it is great, right? You walk in, I can't imagine what it's like now, because I've been here so long, but you see the fitness principles, you see the foundations of health, and then it's a lot of hugs and smiles and like genuine, how are you doing? And like, I've never experienced that anywhere that I've been. It's just like, I'm excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, I am too. I really am.
Cool. And then Kevin.
It's so great.
And then what was health and stuff like? I think we might just end up using this because this sounds really good.
My health.
After we get through these intros, I'm just going to check the audio. But
I think my health was okay. I think parts of it was probably better than other parts. But I think what I do here is just taking the whole thing, the totality of it all, if you will, and that's what I think I couldn't find elsewhere. So. But my health was good, I would say, but I feel like now it's great. I mean, every aspect of it. I didn't sleep. I could not sleep 2 hours straight to save my life.
Yeah.
And now so much better, the sleep, and that is key for me.
Yeah.
I mean, for 10 years I've been dealing with that, not able to sleep. So that in itself has made all the difference for me. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you mind me asking how old you are?
56. I'll be 57 in 2 months.
Amazing.
And I feel 30. Every morning I get up.
Right?
I know. And I tell myself,
I get, the better I feel.
I feel better. I don't have any aches or pains. I don't take any medication. No. And I just 100%. I just love it.
Yeah.
And
cool.
Just share it with my family and my friends. And it's awesome. And they ask me, what are you doing? Oh, this is retirement. That's what they say. Oh, retirement's treating you well. Yes, I'll agree to that. Yeah, but also, it's what I'm doing with my time.
I was going to say, a lot of people get into that retirement mode and they go downhill.
No, exactly. And I think under some statistics, I think within 3 years, a lot of retirees will die.
Yeah.
Under those insurance statistics, if I remember correctly. But no, it's the complete opposite. I feel like I have more time now to devote to real health and to share it. So
that's so great.
Yeah, it's great.
Kevin Prince, 58.
Dude, looking like a Men's Health cover model.
Yeah, for sure.
When you take your shirt off, you do.
Yeah.
But I've been doing physical activities my whole life. We played tremendous amount of softball when I was younger. We always went to Gold's Gym and worked out, although frankly you didn't see much, but at least burned some calories, I guess you could say. Always been active. My brother gave me a set of dumbbells when I was a first-year med student, so I used that as an excuse not to study. So I would use the dumbbells in the room. No, I've always been somewhat active. I mean, not high school or college athlete by any means, but always tried to keep active. Discovered CrossFit in January of 2012 and have been doing it ever since.
Where were you before here?
I was across the street at Max Effort. Before that at 702, also across the street.
Yeah, down the road.
Yeah, and that's where I started. Brock and I, my son, and our son, goodness. Came over here and have loved it. Yeah. Absolutely loved it.
But we saw the signage forever. We'd see CrossFit Combine and come in, we're like, what is that? I wonder what that's like. It's so unassuming. And then when you walk in, you're just like, wow, this is the best kept secret. What is going on here? I just was blown away.
Yeah. And did you have any health issues or symptoms or things that you were dealing with before then, or is you're just better than you were before?
I mean, I've had allergies my entire life. I lived on allergy relief medicine by contact, which is off the market for years. Skin issues. Much now, nothing major.
What kind of skin issues? Like just eczema type stuff?
Yeah.
Really bad. His back.
Across the back.
My eczema is my greatest teacher. Like I know almost immediately when I do something inappropriate, or even in the real food realm, something that triggers it, or at least I have a question. Like, okay, now what's going on? You know.
No, I used the over-the-counter Afrin for years. I'd have it in my pocket. Now, I'm a retired MD, so I know you're not supposed to do that, but that was the only way I could really breathe. So I used that religiously, but was able to get off that completely.
Yeah, he's completely off that. I can't believe it, because all the years I've known him for 31 years.
When did that happen? That you came off?
We started that.
Like we're into this since January now of this year.
That's so
great. And he doesn't do any nasal. I mean, we could not go to the store without it. He would have it in his pocket.
Have it in pocket 24/7.
That has cleared his back. That to me is the most amazing. He had the worst back. And I'd always have to put lotion and everything on it because it was so bad. And now, I mean, I'm constantly commented, oh my God, your back looks great.
Vastly
and I know it has to do with the nutrition side of it. I know it is.
For sure.
Positive.
Yep.
100%.
And I knew, I mean, when I first started CrossFit, they did a paleo challenge. And, I mean, it was amazing. Lost 20 pounds.
Yeah.
It was just... But we didn't really stay on it much after that because nobody else was really doing it at home.
It was just him.
Yeah, I didn't.
And that's hard to do. I don't know how you could do that just with one person.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody else doing something else. But it was amazing how much it worked. Yeah. So when they essentially mentioned the same thing here with the different, different variation, it worked again.
Yeah.
Not only that, but it's, it's like the CrossFit gives you the musculature, it's the diet and the nutrition that allows you to see it.
Yeah. And gives you the health component.
Oh my God.
Yeah. All right, cool.
We're on.
All right, awesome. So, love those little intros, and then let's just go through, like, what has your journey been like, trying to figure out, because you said that you had Crohn's and you're in remission right now. So do you
mean like in general, or like
just in general?
Oh, okay.
All of it. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, this is, like I said before, this is not like a rah-rah SHT thing. I mean, we love that. I mean, but it's just like, really, I just want to hear like your journey and what you've found that worked and what your experience was like. Yeah, you're good.
So
we got the director over here, Suzanne, making sure the mic's in Delancey's face.
Anyways, so no, growing up, I never really thought a whole lot about nutrition. I honestly ate like a bird. I didn't eat a whole lot, and I never thought twice about counting calories. I never had issues with that growing up. It was never a problem.
And what'd you eat? Like you could eat anything and stay lean?
I mean, you can talk about us as a family when we were younger, dinner, what cereal you're having. I loved Fruit Loops, loved Apple Jacks, I loved Baja Fresh, I was quesadilla girl. I could eat anything and it was totally fine. I wasn't into sports at all. I was so girly.
Really? You look like such an athlete.
Yeah, no, not at all. I was people would make jokes about my athletic ability. I was president of the theater club.
That's really interesting.
I know.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I worked in a theater company. company outside of school.
You need to come in here and get more animated sometimes. We
know,
need to see some of your acting
she
skills.
holds back.
Like that.
You have
I've
no
always been
idea.
like that.
She's so unassuming, and I tell her all the time, you know what, Delancey, you're so witty and funny, and why do you? She just she's an observer.
John Nixon said that one day. He's like, man, she's really interesting to talk to. I think it was John that said it.
Yeah. John and I will go back and forth for a while at 6 a.m.
She's a character. Yeah.
No, I've always been that way though. That's my personality, and I think that has to do a lot with, down the road when I didn't do theater anymore, there's clashing of personalities, I'm definitely much more reserved compared to a lot of people in the arts, which is totally normal. But I was totally fine. And then in my senior year of high school, I started getting some weird symptoms. I started getting weird swelling around my ankles, around my knees, and we didn't think much of it. I remember we went to the quick care and stuff. They thought I twisted something. Not a big deal. And then I went into college at USC, and I was a theater major there. And my freshman year is when stuff started to go downhill. I started getting really bad stomach pains, started bloating a lot, the swelling, get really bad edema in my joints. And eventually I started getting erythema nodosum, which is like a swelling, an inflammation of the skin. You get nodules on your shins, and I remember that was bad. I used to cover it up with makeup, I remember, and because I would go to, I tried to join Greek life my sophomore year, and I did, but I would cover it up with makeup, and I was trying to work around it. It got to the point where I was so bloated that I thought, and I had such bad edema in my ankles that I couldn't put tennis shoes on anymore, and I thought I was gaining weight. I thought I was gaining the freshman 15. So it would hurt every time that I ate, so I just stopped eating altogether. And I would work out a lot because I thought I was gaining weight. And
like borderline eating disorder, maybe.
Yeah, but that wasn't my mentality at all.
Right.
It was, I thought I was...
Inadvertently.
I thought I was doing the right thing. And I literally was living off of the little Jiffy single serving packets in the college cafeteria. I would steal them and put them in my bag. And I would just eat little Jiffy peanut butter packets throughout the day, and that was it. And literally surviving off of 400 calories. I dropped so much weight. I was nearing the 80s range of pounds. I'm 103 now. So yeah, you can imagine.
It's not
and
good.
My parents, I know my mom at least, they thought I had, mom was worried I had picked up an eating disorder or something. I mean, she saw me spring break of freshman year and was really worried. And I had gone to the health center. They kept prescribing me ibuprofen, massive amounts of ibuprofen. They told me I was homesick, whatever. My hair started falling out. I got sores.
Isn't that fascinating that the first question they don't ask is how's your nutrition?
Never.
Oh,
or
yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
No. It's funny. They prescribed heavy doses of ibuprofen, which now having Crohn's, you don't want to do. And it's just interesting. Yeah.
Why? Because it shunts the inflammatory, your natural inflammatory response?
It's just the
pain.
whole pain.
It just helps the pain. She was having pain due to the edema.
No, I'm saying why is it recommended now from what you know? Is it because ibuprofen and NSAIDs, as I understand, kind of shunt the GLA pathway or the anti-inflammatory pathways to some degree or something?
Yeah, it's a huge no. Not to take it. And with something to do with the gut lining and actually worsens it. Yeah.
But we went in for testing, finally got a colonoscopy done. Funny story about our family to show you how close we all are. When I went in and the doctor told me I had to get scoped, I was crying in the office because I knew what that entailed. And I was 18 at the time, and I was so scared. And I remember we went into the elevator, and the elevator doors closed, and my mom was like, you know what? I'm gonna get scoped too. And I was like, what? I was like, no, Mom, that's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And she goes, no, and your dad is too. She's like, we're at the right age. We qualify for it, And so all three of us got scoped.
I think that's great.
Yeah?
I think that's great.
So I was diagnosed, went through a whole slew of different medications, was on steroids, had heart palpitations. I mean, my whole sophomore year was battling medications. Eventually found Humira. That is what I currently use, the stomach injections, and I do that bi-weekly. But while that's all going on, I was an acting major, but I was taking classes in health and all the different biology courses. I was taking them as electives to try and learn more. And I was just starting to make this shift where I cared a lot more about those classes than my acting classes. And so that's kind of where the wheels turned, and I became interested, transferred into medical PR because I thought that kind of transitioned nicely from acting. And I know that biomedical invention helped me in that acute state because I was in such a mess. They were telling me to leave school, and I didn't leave school. I did what they told me not to do. But I know at that time, I really started thinking about what I was eating, and I really started picking up running and being active. I had never done that before. And I know that that played a huge role in at least keeping me in school during that time, because I was away from home. I had so many other things going on, and I truly believe that my life choices saved me in the end and kept me and got me through and graduating on time.
Yeah.
From there, I was around 80, pounds. I was so thin, and I mean, I was anemic, lost my period for almost half a year, and I had such a body dysmorphia where I did not know how to eat anymore. My satiety cues were off. Because we were trying to do elimination diet, I was just so confused. Eventually did macros for myself, coached myself, and I did really well. I managed to gain back the weight. I was back to 100-something pounds, did awesome.
Now, when you did that, that was more real foodish, right?
Wow. Always real food. Yeah. No, after I was diagnosed with Crohn's, the fast food, soda, gone. Like it all, I made all those changes then.
Yeah.
The macros.
How did you know to make those changes? They told you, or did you figure that out yourself?
I figured that out myself. The worst was, we had sat in on a doctor's visit, the follow-up after I'd been scoped. They had confirmed it was Crohn's. We sat in there. I'll never forget. Mom had all of her little food and cookbooks in her hands, and he's talking to me, and he's like, you'll go on this medication, blah, blah, blah. Just doing the thing. And then my mom was like, what can she do for diet? Like, is there anything she shouldn't eat or like should look for? And the doctor like looked right at my mom, and she was like, she can eat whatever she wants. And then my mom was like, well, what about dairy? Like, she's like trying to like, and he's like, she can have some cheese if she wants here and there and stuff. And the tension, you could just like touch it in the air. And I was like sitting there like, oh man, like she's gonna fight him. Like, and I remember we got in the car, and we both agreed, my mom and I, we were like, there is no way that like having a gastrointestinal, like inflammatory bowel disease, like
how does that not relate to
how
they won't touch it. They won't touch the nutrition side.
Yeah, how can I? There has to be at least something I can do.
Most
that's
doctors
crazy,
Yeah.
And so we kind of just went from there, and we worked together. And I took classes at school. What
do you think about those classes, though? Because when I met you, I remember I had posted about the Weston A. Price Foundation, and you were like, "Ooh, I love them."
Yeah.
But that's not what you learn in college classes, right? Isn't that a little bit more? And I know you're going for your RD, but like a lot of that is stuff that we might not still agree with, even though they're evolving a little bit. But what was the?
So the classes I was taking at school gave me more so an idea of like human physiology.
Okay.
Because I would go read these books, or I'd listen to podcasts, and the jargon I'd have no idea.
Okay,
I had no idea how the systems worked or metabolic pathways. Like I needed that ground information. I needed to know what the rules are so I could break them, kind of deal. And it helped me so that when I read stuff by Weston A. Price, or I learned how to read scientific studies. That was where the classes came in.
Yeah.
And then from there, I had so many podcasts going all the time. I had so many different books I would read, and like I became a big Michael Pollan person, and like from there built my ideology.
Cool.
The macros came in. That allowed me to look at portion control and help me get my number and bring my weight up. And then did really well in macros, liked macros, but I knew that moving forward in my life that eventually I wanted to reach a place where I didn't need to count things. And with my type A personality, like I love to count stuff. So I wanted to let go of that because it'll drive you crazy, at least for me, And then that's where this whole program, the timing of everything in my life, that's how it came into play.
That's great. So your experience with this was it freeing? Was it like, did it confirm what you already kind of felt like you knew? Like, what was your experience like going through some of our seminars and progressions and stuff? Yeah,
a lot of it was confirming things I had already known, things that I had heard of, and it was just really cool to see somebody else talk about it. And it was really nice to be in a setting where everybody else was working on it too. For so long, it had just been me, navigating it and trying to adopt these things, and it was cool to just be in a setting where now everyone is trying to do it. But it confirmed a lot of things for me, and it really helps. I'm still in that transition, moving away from the macros and everything, and it's just, the timing was just eerily perfect.
Yeah. That's great.
Well,
it's a good little synchronicity. That was a big group too. You're talking about the first of the year thing that we did? We had like 100 plus people in there. That was a really, really big group.
That was a big one.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That's such a great story.
Yeah.
As you're going through it, was there anything that you felt like was challenging to grasp? Anything that was like flew in the face of what you felt like you believed that we were teaching or preaching?
I think with just carbs, like with when I've done macros before, they were a lot higher carbs compared to fat. So I think the shift from having a higher fat diet as opposed to having carbs be the majority of the percentage in which your energy is coming from.
Yeah.
But I'd heard about it before. I'd read about it before. So it wasn't like jarring. It was more so just the application of that was different. And at the end of the day, the biggest challenge that I always have had in the past, and I have it now, is portion control.
Yeah.
And just... I don't really battle with cravings. Like if I have steamed broccoli, but like my problem is I'll eat like 5 bags of steamed broccoli. Like I won't care. Like, so dealing with that has been the biggest thing that I think I've just been wrestling with, my biggest challenge. And just learning to like stop and kind of listen to my body and remind myself like how I felt after the last time I ate 5 bags of broccoli, so that would be the biggest challenge.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Suzanne, what about you? Like, what was your experience? Like, how did you start to find your way?
Yeah. Well, I have to admit, after the first class, and you were telling us not to eat any carbs in the morning, that's complete opposite of what we've learned through the years. It's like eat carbs earlier in the day so you can burn them all day. Right? So you're burning everything that's you just ate. So your body never, really jumps over into that fat burn. And you explained that so well. So at first I was like, wow, logically, it makes sense. But that's not what the masters are telling.
I was going to ask you if what we were doing, saying made sense. And I remember watching you and Kevin. Y'all make me nervous because I was like, all right, we got members of the medical community here, and Kevin, you can tell if he doesn't like something or questions it, like he's, he says something about it, ask a question. And I'm like, but.
Yep, exactly. So I think that was it. That was the start. And then you got me when you said leave the skin on the chicken. And I cringed right there. I'm like, I haven't eaten skin on chicken since I was in high school. So I was like, oh, how can this be right? And then I said to myself, oh, I got to check out Paul's credentials. There's something up here. I need to check this guy out. And you know what? And I did. I know you A to Z. And I'm like, wow, he is so on point. And it's changing that mindset that we've been conditioned. People in their 50s that graduated in the late 70s, 80s, early 80s, this is a 180 turn.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge for me. And, it's sitting down with that chicken with the skin on it and eating it and liking it. And I can't get past it in my head. So I don't eat a lot of chicken. Even now I eat more red meat, which is all good.
Yeah.
So that part was probably the biggest challenge, was that, and to really be mindful of your body cues and that, and not just eat because you're bored, and being retired, and you can be munching all day long. So it's really just connecting there and being mindful.
How long was it before you started to notice some beneficial changes to where you were like, okay, well, maybe there's something to this, and what were those changes?
Well, the first couple of weeks was really tough when we just said we're going to do it and that. And I think I went almost through a sugar detox because I did get sick.
Yeah.
They like to call it the keto flu, if you will.
I remember that.
And we came to pick up some meat, and you were saying, Suzanne, how are you? And I wasn't good.
Yeah, I remember that. And I think my advice was like, I think you just got to keep pushing through.
Yeah, and I did. I just kept pushing through. I thought, no, this only lasts a little bit.
I remember that.
And I did push through, and it passed. And I thought I was doing well before. I thought I ate pretty well before. And
I was going to ask, what were you doing before? Like, what was different?
I probably, I wasn't mindful. I think I ate and snacked. I think I snacked, but I may have snacked on good things. Some fruit.
We had a lot of grains.
A lot of grains. We ate a lot of grains.
Bread and butter. Country
a lot
crock
of
butter.
But I would, right? But no, we would have to say,
I grew up on that.
Right? Yes. Everyone has, So I think that, but I thought I was doing well. I was working out, but I wasn't doing CrossFit per se. But again, you don't know till you don't know. You really think you're doing the right thing. Yeah. And so I think right at that point I realized, wow, I am toxic here. And I just kept pushing through because I thought, I do not want to be this way. Because I've pretty much stayed the same. And so after that first couple months, I was weighing, and I dropped 5 pounds right off the bat. And I knew that was water weight and everything. But then the scale wasn't moving for me. But Kevin kept losing weight. And I'm like, that's just not fair. That's not fair. And he would get on, and he would kind of, just brag, 2 more pounds. 3. And he's like, how much did you lose? And I wasn't losing anymore. And I said, I'm doing the same thing. I'm working, doing CrossFit. What is going on? And then I just put the scale aside.
Yeah. I was because saying, but didn't you notice yourself changing that? Because I remember seeing y'all both come in and be like, I can see it.
Well, I knew I was changing. That's why. But we're so conditioned for women to be on the scale.
Yeah.
And so I thought, this is really going to show on Monday. I'm going to get on the scale. And then it wasn't moving. I'm like, what's up? But I could tell my body was changing. I could really tell. And I thought, wow, but it's psyche, and women, we need to get away from that because that just really weighs on us, literally. So, no, I saw my body changing. And then we did the DexaFit scans right when we started SHT in January. And we set up a second appointment 6 months later. And we said, you know what, let's stay on this. Let's stay true to it as much as we can, and then we're going to get DEXA scanned again and see if there's really any change. That's objective findings. That's not subjective, us saying, woo-woo, we feel great, life is good. This is really coming from some hard numbers, and we were both shocked when we did it at the 6-month mark.
Let's summarize those results. What were the results? Can you, off the top of your head, do you remember that?
For me, my percentage of body fat went down total of 8%. I gained 4 pounds of muscle. That's amazing. She couldn't believe it.
You dropped 8% something
in
percentage
total
points
for my body fat. And actually, I was lighter in January at like 113, and then when we weighed again, I was 115 on the scan, but with 4 pounds of muscle weight, lean muscle mass. That's amazing in 6 months. And you think, wow, how'd you do that? And again, the nutrition was a big part for me. Increasing my fat, eating meat as much as I want, for the most part. I mean, really, I was amazed. And then I didn't feel bad. I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah, and did you have lipid panel, like cholesterol numbers done? And then you come in and tell me about that a little while back?
Yep. We did the whole lipid panel, and I did a follow-up with my primary care, and it was unbelievable. He asked me right off, what are you doing? And I'm like, why? And he goes, well, because your numbers look really good. And not that they were horrific in January, but they were borderline getting, questionable. And he said, your HDL went up, your LDL went down, your triglycerides went down. He said, the only marker that didn't go down was your cholesterol, which today, if you keep up with the literature and the information, cholesterol is not the test that you want to pay much attention to. And really, someone of my age and where I'm at in my life cycle, it's common for women to have it to go up a little bit. So everything else was down. It was fantastic. And he just said, whatever you're doing, he didn't even bring up statins. For a normal person, he would, but he knew not even to touch that with me. But he just said, keep doing what you're doing.
How different was what you had seen and experienced like in the nursing world compared to like what we were doing here?
Oh my gosh. Again, nutrition wasn't a thing.
People,
I mean, we just didn't talk to patients about nutrition. We would have the RDs come in and they would give a plan for them while they were inpatient and that, but there was really no plan. You're treating the symptoms, sickness right there in an acute type setting. But after they walk out the door, who knows? We didn't give them, stay on your, low fat diet. Everything was low fat and during that time that I was at the bedside. But it was very minimal. You're really just treating the acute situation and then sending them out the door. So you're in the sick care model, if you will. And like I always say, we treat disease and they're the symptoms, but we weren't really health providers. I feel here with us and what you and Kobe are doing, you're health providers. You're really taking care of the health of people, and doctors do the disease side when they're in an acute state. So
awesome. That's great. What you got, Kevin? What was your experience transitioning to something a little bit different? Like,
to here?
Yeah, just like you said you'd done the paleo thing before, kind of went off of that just because the whole family wasn't on board.
I don't know even why I did it, but I did when Atkins first came out, I did an Atkins one, but it was too strict. It was so low carb that I was tired and constipated horribly. So I got off of that. I mean, you lost weight on it because you weren't hungry. But and then tried the paleo, which worked good. And then came here, and when we all started it was vastly easier to stay on. And so when you go to the store, nobody's buying their own little individual things and the cereal and the 5-pound bag of sugar. And
well, we didn't do that. Oh my goodness.
We used to.
Well, if you're counting cereal, maybe
for baking stuff.
Huh?
Baking.
No, I didn't bake. I cook now more than I've ever.
We used to buy 5-pound bags of sugar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Girlfriend.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. So my mind is clear now. I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, I don't know what that was for because I didn't.
What did you think about the meetings and the content being put out and kind of how we had that whole thing structured?
I thought it was fine.
Also coming from the medical community.
Good. I mean, I went to med school 30 plus years ago. There was no nutrition that I would, and it certainly wouldn't have been what you teach. I mean, it would have been exactly the opposite. I mean, still today it's high carbohydrate, low. In fact, we were at the Whole Foods store today, and there's a Time magazine special edition, How to Live Longer. Cranked that thing open, looked about the diet. Oh, if you're between, I think it was 45 and 65, you should be eating a low protein diet. No, probably, ideally, about 10% of your calories from protein, and preferably plant-based, because there was some study that came out, and you have a 4-fold higher mortality rate if you eat high protein. But once you turn magically 65, then you're supposed to eat higher protein, but still only about maybe 20-25%, because and apparently it helps with muscle wasting when you get older.
Now, how's the normal person supposed to decipher that?
Oh, well, it was like 0.37% of the grams of protein.
You're supposed to eat 0.37 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Not 0.35, not 0.4, 0.37.
So ridiculous.
I don't know where you come up with these.
Kevin was so appalled. He found me in Whole Foods. He chases me down. Suze, read this. I'm like, seriously?
And the thing at the front says, you'll hear different things, and you'll hear this, and you'll hear that, and you'll hear this. Essentially, this is where you come to, and we'll tell you what to eat. And you're like, wow.
Yeah.
But they didn't give the studies in there. Did they reference anything?
There was a study that they gave. I don't remember.
Well, they come out with stuff like that every year. And I love the people I follow. I don't know if you follow Kresser and obviously like Mercola and all them. Like anytime any one of those like headline deals comes out, like they debunk it to the best of their abilities. But like Kresser's one of the smartest people I've ever known in my entire life.
I like listening to him.
No,
absolutely.
I mean, I did primary care for 28 years essentially. I mean, we were in a county clinic, so we were primary care to people who essentially didn't have any insurance. Indigent clinic is what we were.
Well, our most vulnerable population that you can see. Yeah.
And everybody's got chronic diseases, multiple. And you don't, I mean, as a primary care internal medicine person, I'm sorry, you don't cure people. You manage them. You manage their diabetes. You manage their high blood pressure. You manage their this and their that. And I've told Susan, in 25 years as an attending there, I had one, and I mean this literally, one person who lost a significant amount of weight on their own.
And you kept his picture up in your office
kept this before
for years.
And this after picture.
Yes, he kept it there
on the filing cabinet. And he disappeared after a while, came back about 5 years later, gained it all back. But he had kept it off for about 5 years. Didn't have diabetes, blood pressure was fine, lost his CPAP, didn't need it because he previously
after he lost all the weight.
Yeah, morbidly overweight. Had one person. I mean, because I'm obsessive compulsive to a degree, and I've kept for years an exercise diary. What you write down for exercise each day. What do you write down? What did you eat each day? Simply to make you I couldn't do macros.
Yeah.
I'm too obsessive compulsive, because I want you to be within 5 grams of your protein on every day. Well, but you can't tell me how close it is on the eggs or this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get anybody just to do a food and exercise diary. Just write down what you eat each day and bring it back. Couldn't do that.
Yeah. Wow.
It's tough.
So
interesting.
That's great. All right, so maybe we can just go through and just discuss like where we're at right now, like the beneficial changes we've experienced and how life is. I don't know if you got any advice for someone maybe listening that wants to make a change, to get a little bit healthier. Like, is there anything that you might want to consider, if you're debating about trying to embark on some kind of holistic health journey, whether it's with us or somebody else? So, Delancey, how are things right now?
Things are good. I'm proud to announce, well, I'm still in remission, so that's great. But last April, my dad and I competed in a CrossFit competition. We did Festivus. Yeah. And that was like very emotional for me, because that was such a big goal of mine, to consider myself like a competitive, like, quote unquote athlete. Like, that was just so...
Coming from not doing anything.
Coming from not doing anything, theater kid, like, people make jokes about, like, and then being like almost 80 pounds, like nothing. And then
did you have people that noticed that and came up to you and said something, like, that had known you before and were like...
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get comments, and
family members notice it.
Family members notice it, at holidays and stuff. Like, Delancey looks good, because they remember what I used to look like, and it's just hanging on for life. So that was a huge, like, checkpoint for me, was the fact that I could do that.
So great.
And, like, strongest I've ever been, at that point. Like, that was just awesome, And now, just moving forward, I'm making that transition still from not being, so caught up on macros. That's going really well. I'm definitely happy with the trajectory and, like, moving everything in the right direction. If I have to give advice to anyone,
because there's a lot of people lost out there listening to this, and maybe even people that are like have been through some more stuff and still struggling to make it work.
Yeah, I would say just start small. If you feel like you have a long way to go, it can be really easy to feel like you need to change everything all at once, and it needs to be this grandiose, like, I don't know where I've heard it from, but advice in the past, like, a lot of people, and I think movies and TV shows, like, fantasize this, that, like, there's this one big moment in your life where it just, you change, and then it's better, and, like, you make the change, and all the changes are made at once, and, like, that's not realistic. I feel like the whole journey from where I've started being in high school to where I am now, that is gradual changes, slow. It's, that success is not, point A to point B, this linear, relationship. You fall back, you make mistakes, you learn, and...
Absolutely.
And if you are starting from ground zero, I mean, what I did, you just make one little change. This week, I'm just going to really try and drink more water, and, like, mindfully just try and drink more water. And then you go from there, and then you build up from there, This week, I want to keep a food journal and be really mindful. That's how you make changes. Because, what starts fast ends fast. So if you try and do everything all at once,
that's a good quote.
You're going to bum yourself out, and then you'll feel like it's impossible.
Yeah. We talk about that all the time. Actually, Colby and I were talking about that today. Believe it or not, like, the majority of our conversations behind closed doors are like, how can we do better? How can we make this better? It is a lifelong journey. Like, my changes, there was nothing dramatic about it. Like, I mean, you look at where I was when I started and where I am now, like, that's very dramatic, but that's also, what is that, 6-7 years, but throughout that entire journey, ups and downs, and really just looking for those small increments of even slightly better, because slightly better gives you a little bit of motivation, lets you know you're on the right track, but just understanding it is a lifelong journey. It really is, and that makes it kind of exciting, because you got something to tinker with for the rest of your life, But,
I try and think, like, TV shows and movies, think of, like, their version of that is like a montage, right? With some music and stuff, and you see someone training, and they're like, they hit the punching bag a few times, you see some push-ups, and, like, them eating something, and then boom, like, they're this, like, champion, You never see that.
Rocky scenario.
Like, and it's great cinematically, but I think it gives sometimes people the false impression that it happens that fast.
Yeah, that it happens really fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Suzanne, where are you at with things? How are things? How's life?
Things are great. I think for me, it's so clear for me now. I just feel like there's so much more too. I think I'm just getting started.
What do you think about this progression we're in right now?
It's interesting, the progression we are in, the carnivore. And, it's again changing that mindset that you can eat meat and survive. And I follow a lot of people on podcasts, Sean Baker. I follow some physicians that are doing carnivore. And, you listen to them and you're like, how can you not try it? And especially people who are sick and they're not well and they're on all these meds and they're still not well. I keep saying, look at all the meds you're on. We have some family members that are really our age and they're on a slew of meds. And I'm like, are you better? And they're like, no. I said, I know. So, you have to change something else. So we feel good on it. In fact, it's so funny. The initial meetings you talked about, 3 meals a day, and then you'll get down to 2 meals a day, and then you'll do 1. And we thought, 1? No way. I mean, Kevin's a snacker. So I thought, oh my gosh, if I can get him to just stop snacking, we'd be doing well. But we're at almost 1 meal a day now. Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. And so until you do it, you can't fully appreciate it. And it's easy to sit back and say we're crazy without even trying. That's not fair. And then you still stay in the sick mode. These, people are friends and family. And all I tell them is, just try it. Yeah. And and take it small baby steps. We've been looking at health our whole life. Of course, we've been on our career side, the sick side of it, so we see what happens in the end. And you really need to make health your priority today for your tomorrows. Yeah, I think that's so important. So we're constantly thinking of that, but it's the baby steps. It's even your program. We took it in steps, but we were committed too. We also said, if we're going to do this, we need to be committed. Yeah. And you said it too, you guys, you don't have to jump in 100% at one time, but start noticing, start being mindful of how you feel and your sleep. I mean, it's much more than the nutrition side. I mean, there's a lot more to it. But
that's why we like that's why I try to do these progressions and ease people into it, because there's no way I could have talked to everyone at the beginning of the year about this, whatever the 6th pyramid is we're doing. I think I'm gonna call it next year like animal-based omnivore, but I mean, people would have completely thought I was crazy and walked out of the room, right? Exactly. So, I really like that we try to do progression. We start small and work our way into it. So,
absolutely.
That's our way of doing baby steps to a degree. But
it's a progression, and I see the people coming into class, and it makes my heart just so happy. I always tell Kevin, it's so great. People are waking up. They're starting to realize, oh my gosh, I can do more for myself than our healthcare system. It's great to take care of acute care, traumas, etc., but not for your health. It really isn't. You have to really own that part of it. Yeah. And I just advise people. In fact, I have someone very close to me. She's my best friend, my sister.
Yeah.
So I know I'm always emotional, but I have her starting on this because she was just diagnosed with cancer, and I just saw her today. We met her at Whole Foods, and I'm sorry, I'm so emotional. But this is how powerful this is. And if people realize the power behind it and what they have to heal, that it will click, and it's that moment. When does that happen for people? Do you have to get a diagnosis that's almost a life and death sentence for you? Do you choose life or death? And I put it pretty bluntly to my sister that, what, you're at the point of no return. It's not like I should. You must. Yeah. Now we're at a must point, and she has just, I know it's only been about a month, but we have her under the best care at the Mayo Clinic in Scottsdale, and but she's seeing already a month in, and we put her on exactly what we're doing with you, Paul. And we had her at Whole Foods. We were meeting today, and I was going through showing her things for her to buy.
Whole Foods tour.
Yeah, we were doing.
That's literally what I said.
Yeah.
Wait, like Paul, the Whole Foods?
Yeah, she thought we were with you, and I said no, Denise. After the workout, we met up there. So that's how powerful it is, and I believe in it 100%. And again, partnering with conventional medicine, that's fine. I think they have their place, no doubt, but the power is within
figuring
each
this
person.
out is a crucial matter. It is a crucial matter. It really is.
Exactly.
And that gets me emotional, because it's like we all come into this with whatever is our motivator, and a lot of times for a lot of people, not saying us, necessarily, but to some degree, you know, it's like superficial and aesthetic, but it's like it's about that bigger term, longer term picture. You
exactly.
know?
The longevity in it, and knowing that everything you're doing today affects your tomorrows. It really does.
Yeah.
And you have to make that a priority in your life. And I think people are coming along. I'm very pleased. I tell Kevin all the time, I think people are waking up and realizing that what we were told many years and decades ago was wrong, and that's why 2/3 of our country are overweight. 75% of our healthcare dollars are spent on the metabolic syndrome diseases. I mean, people have to wake up and own it and take part in it to get well. And I think we're on the right path here. So I'm just thrilled to be here, and I just invite everyone to come by and be open-minded and listen and just sit in and watch.
Yeah.
If that's all you do at first, that's fine. It's a starting point, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Now you said your sleep got better. Did that happen just from eating real food, or did was it the sleep stuff that we went through?
I think it was a combination. I think it was definitely the food part had a play in that. Again, doing a little carb at night, you know, that's, again, it's change of thought, and not eating 3 to 4 hours before bedtime, shutting off everything, darkening your room, making it cold. Kevin is very frugal, so he has the heat on. Delancey will attest to that. So now he brings it down even, because we've noticed too, when it's cooler, we sleep better. I mean, all the little tips and advice. I know Delancey's.
I literally sneak in because the thermostat's in their room, and I'll be like, beep, 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 beep.
Yeah.
So all of those things play into it, and then the whole fitness part, again, staying active during the day, definitely, without a doubt, that's played into it. And I'm at 75%. Sleep well, and it just makes all the difference in my life. So.
Oh, well, thanks for sharing all that, and thanks for sharing that about your sister. Thoughts are with her.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And there's Kev.
How are things, Kevin?
Things are good. I mean,
you look great.
I mean, one of the things that really made a difference wasn't through here, but I got out of work. I got really tired.
You retired. That did. Well, that played a big part.
That dropped my stress level.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it took me 2 years to get over that you don't go to work anymore, and you don't have to deal with that down there anymore. Yeah. I mean, for 2 years it was just weird, but that helped a lot. I mean, I've always done working out. I mean, I loved CrossFit from the first exercise routine that Von Hauer put us through at 7:02.
I will never forget that.
Day one, I thought, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
They kill you, and you can't wait to go back and do it again.
Yep.
Yeah, I drank the Kool-Aid. And
yeah, me too, man. I'm addicted.
I just loved it.
Yeah, but it changed you too. I mean, it just, it was.
Wished I'd have discovered it.
Me too.
Years ago.
Imagine finding real food and CrossFit in your 20s.
The combo.
That's what I tell Brock. Good Lord, dude.
Definitely. I would have just loved
it. Just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the dietary stuff, like I say, I'm obsessive. I tend to be obsessive compulsive. So we have a set routine. You know, get up in the morning, I jump in the cold tub for 10 to 15 minutes and get out, and then your coffee stuff is set up. You put in the collagen peptide, the MCT oil, a little bit of creatine, pour in the coffee, add the heavy cream.
He's got a routine.
Got the the cod liver oil down, out the door.
Nice.
You know, make it here by 8. Yep. Get home. We don't eat probably till 12 or 1.
If
when we
that,
get back.
Yeah. And then we don't do the carbs. And at first we were like, we don't know about this, but we just jumped in, and it just now.
Once you, again, if it's just you get into a set routine, I'm just glad that because I would eat sausage and onions probably every day.
All day, every day.
You have to change it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
and what's the thing you always say? What do you always say about your body, how it looks today compared to when you were?
I look better today than I did since I was age 18.
He says this, I like myself, my body
I
today.
have not liked how I have
That's
looked
major.
in decades.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's great.
Amazing.
Yeah. My boyfriend and all
Yeah.
of my guy friends who are in their 20s, they
Amazing.
like worship my dad. They're like, dude, you know, like they all want to look like him.
They fit.
Delancey's making that bowing motion.
Yeah, no, like all the guys.
You can do it.
Well, you can be fit at 50
age
plus.
50.
It's like for women. Women think after we get a certain age that everything falls apart. And I'm saying, oh my gosh, it's actually... You can just
get better.
You
That's
can get
right.
better
I tell
because you're
people all the
wiser
time.
and you. I mean, you have more
I just
time to
can't
dedicate
believe
to
I'm
yourself.
that old.
Yeah.
I have to look. You look at the driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be that old.
Yeah.
But because I don't feel that old.
And that's the main thing that we feel.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so
Not
great.
even close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
And
Well,
so now we're healthy enough to do stuff, and
Since we're
gonna
retired.
Going on your cruise.
do the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
And
See, I didn't want to go
travel.
hiking. He would say all these hikes and everything. I'm like, serious? I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. This was about 6 months ago. And then now I'm like, I'm going with you. And so that's what I see in me, the change. I have all the energy and I'm like, yeah, let's go and let's go do this. So I appreciate that.
and the
side of it.
capacity and the capability. I'm really thankful for, if I had such a thing as a best friend, I mean, Colby's it, because we had this little vision years ago, and then, I'm just thankful to have this opportunity in conjunction with and in synergy with the CrossFit component, having access to members and being able to do these seminars and progressions. It's just, if you just show up and do the workouts, and if you just take advantage of these progressions and seminars and talks that we do, it can completely change your life.
Well, and there's so much. So, like I always say to Kevin, I wish I could go to everything, but I can't. But anytime I can, we come. And it's just staying consistent, you know. And to have you both here, I don't know of anywhere else in town that has that at this level. To walk in and have access and the information and everything you do, Paul, like I always say, is from your podcast to your emails to your written tools you give us at your classes that we can just look over when we get home and re-look over. I mean, that's so huge, because the first time...
Even with my spelling mistakes?
Yeah, we don't care about those. We know what you're saying. The first meeting, though, I have to admit, I looked at it and I was like, oh, why didn't he capitalize that? But once you get over that...
Stylistic.
Yeah, I know you do it now, too. Delancey does that on some of her posts, and I'm like... Oh, she's taking that on from Paul. But no, it's all great. It's just, we're so blessed to have found this place that has both you and Colby here to help us be better and to expand our lifespan here and be well. I want to live, I've always said, till I'm 115 so I can go have senior meals with my kids and we'll all get the senior discount. But I want to be well at 115.
Yeah.
And if I'm in a nursing home, that's not well to me. And that's the goal, is just longevity with the health, healthy lifespan here for us. And here we found it, I think. So you can't go anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
Both you and Colby, no way. You have to stay here. So.
Yeah, I'm in love with you guys too.
Yeah,
it's been great. I mean it when I say it's just something really special about y'all. And I think a lot of it's just because you actually show up, you participate, you're seeing the changes, you're encouraging to other people. It's great.
Yeah, it definitely works. And you just have to put in the time, and it's not a lot of time. We come here an hour of the day, you're home 23 hours. It's 1 hour of 24. I mean, it's what you do after you leave.
And then a seminar every 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's not a lot of time. It really isn't, and you have to prioritize yourself first.
Yeah.
And once you do that, then you start to see the results, and you feel good, and you don't want to go back.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do everything first.
Yeah.
Just I'll do that and that and that, and then add in this, because I still have the meditation part.
We're working on that.
And the more you get exposed to it, though, it's like you do a little bit and you learn it.
The grounding. Yep.
Yeah, we do that.
We're hardcore.
Yeah.
We do
meditate.
But you come and learn about it. That's what's great.
Yeah.
Because, at some point, something might click, and then
exactly.
that will be your next thing.
Exactly. No, exactly.
And I can see the benefit of it. It's just, I don't know. I'm not doing it right.
Yeah, it's all good. It just takes practice, but at least you're trying and showing up. So.
Yep. That's it.
All right. Well, love you guys. If there's anything that we can do, just let us know, and any feedback that you have to help us make it better. We got that meeting coming up this Saturday. If you can make it, that'd be great. That's kind of what I want to do, is just give you an update on what we're doing, what's kind of going on behind the scenes, what can we do to make this better, because we really are trying to build a community and a support system. Like you said, the majority of what we teach, you're not for CrossFit, you just show up and do the classes. I mean, that's great, you know. But a lot of what we teach is like you're doing it away from home or away from the gym. So whatever we can do to make that better, like we're open to feedback for sure. So
okay, great. No, thank you.
So thank you all so much. This is going to be so beneficial to other people. So beneficial.
Good. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
I told them I thank them because I said, I thank you guys for doing this because I really wanted to do it. I just think it's like amazing. So, but they bring so much to it also from just a different perspective. So
it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Y'all got your SHT and Combine shirts on, so we'll go outside and take a picture together. But hey, thank you all so much. Thank you for coming on and spending this time with us.
So
all right.
Much. Yes.
All right.
Thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, so remember the purpose of this podcast is to support our SHT community and to be in your ear as a go-to resource for all things SHT.
If any of you have fallen off, if you need support, honestly, just come back and listen to some of these episodes. Get re-inspired, get re-motivated, and get re-engaged. If you're new to us, the best way to get started is by joining our newsletter at sht4life.com.
That's sht4life.com. And you can also find us on Facebook at Superhuman Transformation, and then on Instagram, Superhuman Transformation, which you're doing an amazing job with.
Thank you.
And then also Twitter, it's SHT4Life. I think that's all we got.
See ya.